obviously your current address, and then you need now to upload your official passport document. It should be in PDF, and the maximum file content should be 5 MB. Then the passport expiry date, you need to fill in that, your mobile number. Make sure if you have a mobile number that is under WhatsApp, please, I encourage you to, to put that, because that is what they will really consider. The other main documents to upload under this section, you have passport size photo, I already talked about that, and the passport document. Under the academic section, so after you have filled in the personal information, in the website, the main application portal, you will have, an indicator that tells you next, you proceed, and then you'll come here, the GPA. This actually depends if you are an undergraduate student, you just need to go to the drop box, okay? You just need to go to the drop box. So from the drop box here, you can get the type of the GPA ranking that is available. Don't be scared if you see GPA. They actually intended it for everyone. So you can get whether it's 100 and the rest of the stuff. So you put your own score here. Let's say it is in 100 system or whatever grade. Just put the score there and select it from there. And put your academic transcript. This academic transcript, for the sake of, for those who are applying for the master's program, let's say somebody who already have a bachelor degree, the transcript is obviously always available. But for secondary school students who are, willing to apply for the bachelor programs, there are two options here. If you have the transcript, your previous, results from senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, and maybe a portion of senior 4 that are combined in one document together, you can upload that. But if you don't have, I suggest that, South Sudan National Secondary School Certificate has two portions. There is the upper page, which indicates your grades, and then the other one, which actually act like a transcript. So you can cut that into two. Take where they try to grades, disseminate the grades level, and and try to upload it here under the transcript section, and then use the upper phase, which is the first section, which contains the courses that you did or the subjects that you took in your secondary school, upload it here. Then there is something very important here. There is an option, they just introduced it this year. Last year it wasn't there. And they wrote something, English-speaking country. For the case of South Sudan, we are an English-speaking country. Not because we are English, but you understand, all of us understand that our education system is entirely based in English. So you need to take this, because this will be an added advantage for you. Let's suppose you take an English-speaking country and you don't have any English proficiency certificate that is issued to you. You can just upload the one from your school and it will work. They will consider that because they know you already have English background. Additionally, at the end of the day, you are going to be taught Indian language. They will teach you their language. Don't be afraid though. So English is just needed because whatever way, even if you are learning Indonesian language, you still need English. You need to read other academic papers, publications. Most of the stuffs are done in English. So your English proficiency is also important, and that's why they need it. But if you're from South Sudan, for example, taking an English-speaking country is really an add-up. So the certificate, the recommendation, of course, the recommendation, the academic one, and then you upload here the embassy recommendation, the initial one that you actually that you actually requested, because that is the first step. That is the first approach towards applying for this scholarship. There is a section here for last high school or college. That one is obvious. You need to fill in the school where you graduated from. For example, if you were in the university, you need to indicate that. If you were in a secondary school, you need to indicate that. Then the next section would be the academic information. From the academic information, you need to select your degree. And I need to pause here a little while. Make sure that as someone who is interested to apply for the Indonesian government scholarship, you should have a clear choice. Let's say, for example, you want to be an informatic engineer. Be certain that I'm going to be an informatics engineer and I'm going to apply for informatics engineering. From that aim, you need to select the degree you want. There are a lot of options. Let's say informatics, you click in the drop box, then you take it. You also need to be very aware that whatever option you put as the first one, that is what they are going to consider most. So be careful with what you select as the first one. Now, a lot of students do mistakes here. You know, Indonesia has 1,000 of universities, like I told you, but the universities that are accredited to KNB are only 31. So these universities are top universities. But of course, in the ranking there is difference. As a candidate, you know, you need to, what matters here is maximizing your chance for winning the scholarship. I don't think anybody is really after, you know, highly accredited universities, highly ranked universities, because the competition in those universities is also so steep. So before you select any university here, first do a background check. Let's say Institute Technology, Sepuluh November. This is one of the top universities. Go for Googling, try to check it. How is this university ranked in Indonesia? From there, you'll be able to know whether it is a highly ranked university or not. If it is highly ranked and you are somebody who wants to maximize for your chances, try to go for universities that are lower. For example, there is this university here, Universitas Dian Nusantara. This university is actually in my city. It is a good university, but in terms of ranking, obviously, it's not the top. If you select this university, for example, your chances of securing the scholarship might be high. So try to do some considerations. Don't just select any university by random, because that one also kill your chances. So most of the things are basics here. You just select your first option, your second option, and the university you want it in, then you are good to go. The academic information and the universities, university and the study program. So this is the section for the study program and also for the universities. The main thing, do a background check for the university and also try to have a crystal clear idea about the courses you want. The last one, I have the last one before I go is the statement. I have not emphasized this because the statement is particularly meant for the PhD students. Because for the PhD student, you need to submit your letter of intent. You also need to submit your research proposals, a brief of that. But for the master's and the bachelor student, it is not so mandatory. Just in case it is needed in the system, because I just checked it before and I couldn't proceed further, you also need to give your statement. What is needed in the statement? For the case of an undergraduate student, you know, you need to specify why are you applying for that particular course? Why do you want it? So you need to write something like a motivation letter by essence. And the content should be why you are interested in that course, why Indonesia, and what do you hope to do once granted an opportunity. So after completing that, the fifth and the last stage is submitting the data. Once you are sure that everything is all right, all is excellent, there are no mistakes, you can now submit your data. And after submitting your data, you know, you'll be, obviously, you'll have just to wait for the time that is specified by the committee and get the feedbacks. In most cases, most of the universities, especially the low-ranking universities and other universities, they always give a student the chance for an interview. So, I mean, the review, after the review, once all your documents are in place, they will give you a chance for interview. So if you are sure, if you are certain that your documents are in place, prepare for the interview in advance. And that means you have to research a little bit about that. I'll talk about that later. I don't know how many minutes I'm left with.
You're left with
Mr.
10
Moderate,
minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, I think that's still much. 10 minutes with question included or for the presentation alone?
With the question included. But don't worry, I will give you bonus for maybe another 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that brings me to the section of considerations. The question will be, in your mind, what is so important is for you to succeed in securing the scholarship. It's not just you trying to apply and maybe talks, I tried this, I tried that, but it didn't work. Sometimes our failures in securing the scholarships are inborn. What do I mean by that? We don't really do considerations. We don't really put energy and time into understanding what does that scholarships require from us. I don't blame any of us because our chances are limited and some of the things, especially in South Sudan, are not so accessible to us, especially internet and the chances to browse the internet and get information. But as a KNB, aspirant candidate, there are some few considerations that I want you to do. And this one can shape your thinking into how best you can perform in the interview and probably give you a general idea of what the scholarship is all about, especially for Indonesia. The first thing is you should have passion for studies in Indonesia. Don't let it just be, an opportunity to apply, like just the other random scholarships. Make sure you have a passion. And what do I mean for a passion? You should have an idea of what education in Indonesia is. How far is that? It's just a Google away. Get your few MBs, try to check about Indonesia. Everything is online. Check about the education system, read through it. You will have an idea of what education is in Indonesia. Let's say, for example, you are somebody who is interested in public health, for example. You need to know, what is Indonesian public health? How does it look like? What do you do with an Indonesian degree, for example, if you got it? These are things that you should have in mind in your fingertips. So you should have passion, love, not just the sake of applying. Secondly, you should have a desire of reinvestment in the home country, in your home country. If you look at these images here, I don't know if anyone have realized the foundation is many, but in top of that many, there is a plant that is growing. The entire goal for this KNB scholarship is assisting developing countries to develop. And how do countries develop? If you look at these Southeast Asian countries, let's talk of Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore. Most of these countries have invested in their human resource. And human resource is one of the contributing factors for a nation to thrive. So these people, they don't just want to give you the scholarship for nothing. They want you to have an idea. Okay, for example, you want to be a public health professional. What are you going to do after getting a bachelor degree in public health? What are you going to change in your country? So in your conversation in the interview, you should have an idea what you want to do. Because by having an idea, they will now understand that, oh, this is someone who is willing to give back to the society. So it's worthy of consideration. You want to be a mechanical engineer, for example, what are you going to contribute? You want to be, for instance, you want to be a lawyer, what are you going to contribute? You want to be a financial professional, what are you going to contribute in changing the face of South Sudan? So these things are important. Oh. Okay, then that brings me to the question of the interview ins. I want to give some few tips briefly, because I know for those who are going to apply, when all documentations are complete, there are high chances that you will be interviewed, because Indonesians really want to give you a chance to express yourself. They don't just want to deny you an opportunity. But bear in mind, just like I told you, if you are an undergraduate student, there are only 30 slots, not for South Sudanese, but for all the applicants. Last year, they had over 5,000 plus applicants. So this year, I don't know what the number will reach. So you are not just competing alone. You are competing, let's say, with thousands of other people for just a slot, you see, particularly in the bachelor section. For the masters, there are really ample chances. And I'm really advising, if there is anyone who is interested in masters here, you have passion for education in Indonesia, and I mean, you have done your research, you are somebody also who is also interested in languages, this is the perfect chance for you. because there are many slots for masters. And the quota intended for South Sudan under the master sections is a little bit higher compared to the bachelor section. So what do you need to do once you are shortlisted for the interview? You need to do prior research. Where should your research, centered on? It is not an academic research that you have to, to really look into a lot of matters. You need to understand the university. What universities that you are applying to? That particular course, the first choice that you fill in. For example, if you are applying for, let's say mechanical engineering or electronics engineering in a certain university, let's say Universitas Indonesia, which is the top university. You need to know what is Universitas Indonesia. You also need to know a few things about it, few things about the course. Secondly, and this is very important, you need to demonstrate your, Indonesian language skill. Remember, under this scholarship, you are expected to be taught Indian language entirely. The language is not hard, don't be scared. The language is not hard, so you'll have the chance to learn. But there is one way you can surprise the interviewer. Why not just Google some basic Indonesian language online? Learn things like good morning. How do Indonesians say good morning? The answer obviously is selamat pagi. It's not something hard to master. How do Indonesians say thank you? It's terima kasih. You see, how do Indonesians say how are you? Say apa kabar? You see, how do Indonesians say what is this? They will say apa ini. How do Indonesians say hello? They will say hello. How do Indonesians say excuse me? They will say permisi. You see, these are just basic. So you can actually Google some basic stuff. And why not surprise the interviewer with 1 or 2 or 3 Indonesian words? They will be very surprised. And that will indicate to them that, wow, this is a candidate who is really interested in our country. And remember, there is nothing that is free in this world. They are giving you the scholarship, but they also want some certain things in return. What are those things? They want you to learn your culture. They want you to learn your language. So you can be maybe someone who has average performance in your academic transcript. But if you have the passion and the skill for the language, you have already, learned basic things and you understand them in your country, and you try to demonstrate that in the interview session, that will maximize your chances. That will maximize your chances. Okay. Oh, sorry. The last slot, because my time is up, under the interview ins, is having the foundational knowledge about the desired course. Let's say you want to be a chemist. You are applying, you have applied to be a chemist. You should know what chemistry is about. This does not need a lecturer, to teach you that chemistry is all about this at the university level. What does a chemist do? Let's say you want to be an IT expert. You should understand what does IT mean? Google some basic stuff about IT. Google some basic stuff about, chemistry. Have them at your fingertips. I mean, what are the major things that would be taught to you? Because the interviewer will ask you, they will try to assess your knowledge. They won't mind that, okay, you are somebody who just finished high school, so you don't know things of the university. Okay, maybe you hold a bachelor degree, but you want to study your master's, so you don't have an idea what masters are. No. In this digital world, you are expected to have an idea, because almost all informations are just Google away from you. So try to research. You don't really need to understand the technical part, but have basic knowledge about your course. It's so important, because once the interviewers are asking you, you'll be able to give them an idea. Just talk of your future perspective. For example, you want to be a chemist. What does a chemist contribute to the overall well-being of the society? Have an idea about it. You want to be a chemical engineer like myself. What does a chemical engineer do? Okay, for example, you've been trained as a chemical engineer here. How will you change the face of the oil sector in South Sudan? These are things you should have vision about. Okay, do you want to venture into pharmaceutical industry? What do you do in order to achieve that? So that is really important. The fourth one is understanding Indonesian society in brief. Well, Indonesia is rich in cultures and multilingual society, just as I said before. And a lot of the information are also online. Indonesian people are very friendly. Indonesian, they are so welcoming. There are a lot of foods here that you can try on if you are food enthusiast. And the environment is it's considered one of the most beautiful countries in the entire world. So there are a lot of tourists here too. So try to understand them. Google basic things. Who are Indonesians? Say that you're not somebody who's just in blue. Try to know basic few things. You don't really need to know all, but at least know few things. They just Google away. Those one, I'm pretty sure if you master those few tips, you'll be able to convince the interviewer and you'll maximize your chances of securing a KNB scholarship. So I've taken long. Without further ado, I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, this should be my last slide. Yeah. So any questions from here? And yeah, this is an Indonesian word. Sekian dan, terima kasih. With love, thank you. So I just want you to get some basic, we are talking about Indonesia, we are talking about Indonesian people, so you should also a little bit grab some few words for your language. Who knows, you might have an Indonesian friend in the future, and you guys can be able to converse easily if you know their words, because a language, is a master key. It opens you for opportunities. It opens you for, interaction, cordially based interaction. So thank you so much for those who have paid attention and for the organizers. I would love to stop here and maybe take some few questions or address other matters that are necessary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Solomon, for the wonderful and insightful presentation. Actually, it is a life-changing presentation, and I really appreciate you for doing that. So for taking your time to filter the presentation and put it in this tremendous way. So thank you so much for that job. So at this time, because of time, so we're going to take maybe 10 minutes for the question. And this 10 minutes, within 10 minutes, we're going to have also answers. So if you have a burning question, because I know most of the questions have been addressed in the presentation, if you were actually listening actively, then there will be no need for us to take my time maybe in answers. So maybe someone will not be taking my time to answer. So I will just allow someone. So if you want to have a question, then raise your hand. So, and then I will see you. So I'm seeing Malwal here. So Malwal, if you are ready with your question, then ask your question, and then we go.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother, who was presenting, and also you, the host of today's presentation. It's a pleasure, and I'm happy to my brother and also to you has created this very important platform or the institution to educate the people about how they can get a scholarship. So I briefly would like to be taken back again in the section of the English proficiency. For example, in the case of South Sudan, it is hard for us to get the places or the institution where we can get English proficiency, given the fact that others obtain it through online by getting on a dual application or a website. Sometimes other students can visit to the university, such as the University of Juba, to go and sit there. But in case if you don't have that particular certificate at all, and that section need to a document to be uploaded. Which document can you put in place of that? That's why I wrote a text before that if you can pardon me from that particular part of English proficiency, which document can replace the proficiency qualification document? This is one. Number two, also, I would be very glad to hear from the presenter if at all the documents, such as the documents for refugees, the internal displaced persons, and all this are applicable, are they considered here or not at all? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Malwal, for the wonderful questions. Solomon, you can answer those questions maybe within 1 minute.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Malwal. Your questions are really insightful, and that suggests you were listening attentively to me. Firstly, I want to underscore that the English proficiency for the Indonesian scholarship is not mandatory. Oh, but there's one thing you need to understand. If we are talking about the English proficiency, actually most of the institutions consider the internationally accredited English proficiencies. For the sake of the application, because in the website, they are needed. You just need a sample of the English proficiency, and even in the embassy. So what do? Because the Indonesians understand that if you are if you are coming from an English-speaking country like South Sudan, you should have been well conversant in English. But there is one simple approach you can do. You can get, an English proficiency attestation letter, either from your school, if you were from a high school, or from your university. You can talk with your professor. You can even drop the content and just give it to him. This is a certificate to show that you were taught in English and you are proficient in all 4 aspects of English speaking, of English. Let's say writing, reading, speaking, and what else am I forgetting? Anyway, for the four sections. So you can cheaply get that later. You don't really need, for the Indonesian case, you don't really need to provide things like IELTS, like TOEFL, and have a stress about the finance. It's not not necessary. But try to get that document because it will help you to upload it in the system. Remember, the system is not only designed for South Sudanese, it's designed for others too, where English proficiency is highly required. So that's my advice on that. Try to get one from your school, submit it for the sake of the application. One important thing, if you are a refugee and maybe you're an IDP, those documents are not really necessary. Because remember, with the scholarship applications, you don't just need to upload all the documents you have. By default, I had a friend of mine who uploaded an ID of him being a military officer to a scholarship application, to a scholarship application portal. That was disastrous. It was not shortlisted. So by the essence of documents, that does not mean all. Try to work under instructions. If they tell you that we need this document, upload that document. If they don't need it, they don't need it. Don't give them surplus. It doesn't really depend on how many documents you submitted, but the quality of the documents you submitted. Get that one right. So that's what I can say, my brother. Upload those that are necessary and reserve those that are not necessary for other scholarship. For example, there is what else? The MasterCard scholarship. They often require you to upload, refugees type of documents or IDP, because the criteria of selection is based on those things. For the Indonesian one, the criteria of selection is based on you being from a developing country. South Sudan is a developing country. So that is your merit, plus the rest of the other stuff. So thank you for your insightful question. And that is the brief answer I can give to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Solomon, for the brief answers. So we will go to the next. Ton Clay, I've seen your hand.
Thank you once more, guys. It's me, Tom, today.
You are not audible enough, Ton.
All right. I'm kind of in a noisy place. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
I was late. I joined late, but sorry for that. My question was I tried to check the link on the Facebook, but I was not seeing the link. If it's possible, will you guys later help me send the link? But I did not see the link anywhere. That was my request.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question. Are you in NS group or no?
Yeah, I'm in on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
No, I'm not on WhatsApp, but I'll share my number to you guys later.
Okay, I think maybe if one of the volunteers is there, maybe ready, you can just share the link of WhatsApp on the in the
okay.
comment sections, so you can just click and join. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you for that. We are going to share. Okay. Is there another question before we allow the second presenter? I'm seeing Jacob Thiong.
Yes, thank you for the
welcome.
opportunity. And my question is there what's the age limit for master's student applying to the Indonesian universities? And also, is there any other any English speaking or English teaching universities in Indonesia? And also, what is the if there are any path for PhD students in Indonesia? Thank you.
Okay, Solomon, can you just answer that within 30 seconds? Something like that.
Now, for the master's student, if I got his question right, the master's student is 35 years maximum. Okay. Now, for the English speaking universities, isn't that the second question?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Now, there are international programs here in the universities. But like just I told you, all these universities have their own international program where you can actually study in English. But the point is, if you are awarded this government scholarship, you are expected to study in their language, because the Indonesian people are also selling their culture and language to you as an added benefit. So it's part of the precondition for you to actually get the scholarship. But they are also English-speaking universities. All these universities are there. If you are applying under your own private funding or maybe a scholarship from the university, like myself, I'm studying from a university-based scholarship. So I actually studied in international class, but there are rare chances for that. So you can actually apply and get a slot. But for KNB particularly, no. You are expected, you are taught in the language, they'll give you a foundation for 1 year, and then you are expected to learn in their language. Okay. For PhD candidate, for instance, PhD is not just like other courses, so you are expected to do research. But currently, most of the research are shifting towards English for the sake of publication and the rest of the stuff. So you can really have chances of you doing your work and other basics publication in English. There are chances for that. But for the thesis aspect of it, under KNB, you are expected to publish your thesis in Bahasa Indonesia. They will guide you through that. It's not so difficult. So that's it. Well, there are chances for PhD candidates. I think I elaborated that before in the presentation. Thank you. In case of anything lacking, I'll be available to clarify it further.
Okay,
Appreciate the
okay.
information. Thank you, Jacob and Solomon.
Okay, thank you, Jacob, for that question, and thank you, Solomon, for the answers. So I think by this time our time has elapsed, so we will not allow some other question or some other question to be asked. So by this time, maybe if you have your question, you can write in the comment section, or you can write in WhatsApp group. So all of us are there to handle and the question that is asked based on this scholarship. So if we can handle it. Other thing you can also do, you can go and do more research on the website. You will get most of your question will be answered there. By this time, we'll welcome the second presenter if he's ready. Deng Wit.
Excuse me, Brother Deng. Sorry for the interruption. A second, please. I want to emphasize something little before I quit, because like I requested, I'll be leaving shortly.
Okay.
My apologies.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. I thank you for those who are paid in their attention. I would want to give maybe a public request for those master's students. If you are probably a master's student who is willing to apply for any education related program, later on my contacts are available with Deng Bol. If your documents are in place, you can let me know, because I want to advise you to apply for a certain university, because their educational programs, the education related programs are really good. And they told me that they would be interested in a South Sudanese applicant. So that's just like special information for those who are interested in education related courses, particularly education related courses, and maybe social sciences, more of that. So that's that. And my last request, Brother Deng, probably if you can give me a picture with the platform just for a memory before I quit. Because
Okay,
I have a tight schedule tomorrow, so I need to embark on my things. My apologies, I won't finish the session with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Solomon, for the wonderful presentation and all that you have contributed in this session or in this orientation. So maybe what we can do, if we are going to take a general portal, maybe You can put on your camera and then we take a general photo with Solomon before he leave the meeting. Thank you. Let's be quick. Maybe you can do your. Maybe you can put maybe a greeting like Kir like Quir. Thank
No,
you.
no. Brother Deng, you can assist me with the photo, if
Yeah,
possible.
I will do it. I will do it, Solomon.
Okay.
Are we
Okay.
ready? Yeah, Solomon, you need to maybe you can put your computer back like side that you appear well. Yeah, something like good. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So I will take the photo and then share it and then you confirm it.
Some smile, guys.
I think I'm not taking it well. So maybe another one. Let's take another one. The second one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Solomon.
Thank you so much, Brother Deng. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. See you again.
Best of luck, guys. Thank you.
Okay. So now it's the time for us to welcome our second presenter to take us through this time that is left. So, Brother Deng. So, Brother Deng, you're highly welcome to take us through.